6, and it was Monday. Number 1, we said list the factors of 32. I even helped you decide what are factors. And you would list it as, you would write 32 with a colon. 1 and 32. 2 and
16.
16. What's my next one? 4 and 8. Anything else? Nope.
8 and 4.
What?
Number 2. Says a bus driver drives 547 and 2,500 miles on day 1 of a trip. On day 2, he drives 327 and 875 hundredths on the trip. How many more miles? The clue, how many more? If I'm comparing, I'm going to do what? Subtract. So I take 547 and 2,500 hundredths minus 327 and 875 thousandths. This kind of tricked some of you because you didn't know what to do because there's nothing here. To not change the value of it, what can I just add here?
0.
Just put in a 0. Now I can take something away, but 0 minus 5, I can't do that, so we just follow regular subtraction rules. Borrow. The 5 becomes a 4, the 0 now becomes a
10.
10 minus 5 is
5.
5. Can I take 4 minus 7?
No.
Borrow again. The 2 becomes a 1, the 4 becomes a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. Can I do 1 minus 8? No. Borrow. The 7 becomes a 6, the 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 8?
3. Wait, 4. Oh no, 3.
3. Bring your decimal point down. Can I take 6 minus 7?
No.
So the 4 becomes a 3, this becomes a 16. Now 16 minus 7 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 5 minus 3 is
2.
There we go. And you're done. Lots of borrowing. That's why staying neat helps. Number 3, a negative 5/4 divided by 2 and 3/5. Before I do any division of fractions, I have to make my mixed number a what? Improper fraction. So I'm just going to leave this one the same, negative 5/4 divided by 2 times 5 is
10.
10 plus 3 makes
13.
So I have 13/5. Okay, so I'm just resetting up my division problem. Then it's keep, change, flip. And instead of saying flip, it is the reciprocal. Then I look, can I do any reducing?
No.
I can't. 5 times 5 is 25. 4 times 13. I don't know it, so I'm going to come over here and do it. So it's 52. Now, before I move on, look, 1 negative, 1's positive. So my answer has to be negative. Number 4, comparing a negative 31/8 to a negative 3 and 92 hundredths. You guys should be able to do this problem also. What do I need to do?
Oh, you need to change the fraction to decimal.
Change the fraction to a decimal because you both have to be in the same format. So I'm going to take 31 divided by 8. 8 goes into 31
3 times.
3 times. 3 times 8 is
24.
24. So I'm going to subtract. 11 minus 4 is 7. Add the decimal, bring it up. Add a 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 70 how many times? 8 times, because 8 times 8 is
64.
70 minus 64 is 6. Add another 0. Bring it down. 8 goes into 60.
7 times.
7 times. 7 times 8 is 60 minus 56 is 4. Add another 0. Bring it down. 8 goes into 40, exactly 5 times. So now I'm comparing. Now remember, this was negative. So it's a negative 3.875 compared to a negative 3.92. I'm rewriting it. My ones places are the same, so I don't compare those. But my tens places are different. Most of the time we want to say an 8 is less than 9, but it is not when it's negative. When it's negative, the further away from 0, the smaller it gets. So a negative 3.875 is greater than negative 3.92. They're both negative. John's car can travel at an average of 35 miles per gallon. So you'd write 35 miles is 1 gallon. And it says, write an equation to represent how many gallons it would need for a trip of 656 miles. So remember, we keep gallons with gallons, miles with miles. So we set it up as our equivalent ratios. We circle going across. So I have 656 equals 35x. Does it say that I even need to solve it?
No.
No. Just set it up an equation, and we just set up an equation. Find the greatest common factor of 14a and 28ab. To find the greatest common factor when we're starting to use letters, we need to do the factor tree, the prime factorization. So that would be 2 times 7. So the factors of 14a are 2 times 7 times a. 28ab would be 2 times 14, 2 is prime, and then 2 times 7. 2 and 7 are prime. So it's 2 times 2 times 7 times a times b. Circle what we have in common, the 2's, the 7's, the a's. So then you have 2 times 7 times a. Well, what's 2 times 7?
14.
So it would really be 14a. If you could get it without doing all the prime factorization, you can count yourself correct. Number 7 says to write an expression to represent the perimeter of this triangle. What is perimeter? Addition, what are we adding?
Length.
Just all the sides, right?
Yes.
So I just circled all the sides, what they called it. So then I'm going to write that on my paper. So I have 2a minus 3 plus, because that was one side, 3a plus 1 plus 2a. So that's adding them all up. Now where do we go from here? Well, I look at what I have in common, like what they have, like they're together. Like this has an A, this has an A with it, and this has an A with it. They are all positives. So I just have to add. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, and you keep the A. I'm not adding the A's again. Okay, because it's just like there's just one A there. Then I go to my numbers without letters. I have a negative 3 and a positive 1. Remember, This was like saying subtraction 2a minus 3, but remember I said at the beginning of the chapter that negatives and subtraction, when you do a subtraction problem, it's like a negative. So if I have a negative 3 plus 1, one's a negative, one's a positive, I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2, and it's going to be negative because the 3 is bigger. So your final problem would be 7a minus 2. Do you see how I combined all of those? Okay?
I thought it'd be negative 2, not minus 2.
But it's an equation, so you're going to say minus 2.
Oh.
Then number 8 said, in the problem above, so that was this problem right here, if you knew the perimeter was 47, find the value of A if you knew the perimeter was 47 meters long. So it would be 47, because that's perimeter, equals 7a minus 2. So now we're solving the equation. We have the equal sign. What do I bring down from that equal sign?
A line.
Just a line. Then I'm going to box the 7a. You guys need to be writing this down. And then I'm going to add 2. Add 2 to both sides. These cancel each other out, and 47 plus 2 makes 49. So 49 equals 7a. I'm not done. Box the a again. So if I have a number and a letter next to each other, that's like multiplying. So what I need to do the opposite of multiplying, and so I divide by 7. Divide by 7. Those 7s cancel each other out. 49 divided by 7 is equals just our letter A. And then I've rewritten A equals 7. How many of you got that one right?
Oh, wrong.
How many of you got 5 or more correct?
Wait, 5 or more?
5 or more.
I mean, I got 5.
Yeah, that counts.
No.
Good. Katie, you can go ahead.